like to respond to this lady's video, which herself, she's actually responding to an interview that took place between Judy Wood and Andrew Johnson, and they had an informal discussion on the CA fires. Well, you know, I listened to a few minutes of it. I sort of skipped the introductions, listened to him, listened to her, realised what they were all about, and suddenly found this lady who's just hold on a minute.
It's really
Never Lose Truth, and I've subscribed. I think she's absolutely brilliant. So I know exactly how she feels, because she's explaining something here, and it is very important that people listen and understand what is going on, because this is a very important point, and it is an alert. And because as usual, they always just take that little bit extra, don't they? They always go one step too far, the criminals. And we know there's an agenda going on. We know that there is Agenda 21. It isn't a conspiracy theory. It is a conspiracy fact that various government agencies have got together and they've all agreed to adhere to Agenda 21. Various countries, various organisations within each country, they've received funding, they are established to follow that directive. They have the corporate military set in place, which, according to the evidence, appears to have leached funds from the Pentagon to the tune of 2 point something, or is it 3 trillion, that has been absorbed, stolen actually, from the American military, from the American people, and funneled into creating corporate military units. Because where did they spring up from, and where did they get the cash? Is it all borrowed from somebody? Who has the cash to set up a military corporation, you know, to suddenly buy tanks and all this weaponry? You know, who sets these things up? Where did they get the money from? Follow the money, follow the money. How many trillion went missing from the Pentagon budget? Oh, what could it have been spent on? What could it have been funding? Privatised military? This is serious. This is tyranny. Okay? Now, what this lady is explaining, it's something that I've tried to address in other videos. A prime example is Chomsky and how he is controlled opposition, and that people like Judy Wood and Andrew Johnson, they are a form of controlled opposition. They're there, they become big names in the so-called truth movement, and they feed a bit of information, a bit of truth porn for the truth junkies, and but any important issue that the powers that be want the public to be sceptical on or turn away from, then they will poo-poo it, and then that will deflate a lot of people, because they'll start to question their own sanity, because they put so much faith in these people, or other people who've not really looked into the things, but you know, they just follow Dr. Judy Wood, and you know, they really like Andrew Johnson, and it's like, yeah, we'll just stay by these because they know what they're talking about. And this lady, absolutely perfectly rational lady, knows exactly what she's talking about. She's a human being, she's got a brain, she doesn't need a PhD to understand when something isn't natural. So, as I've always said, Dr. Judy Wood came on the scene with her energy weapon thing, absolutely spot on. Already the people were there with the thermite, absolutely spot on. I've always said it was both of them, and yes, this lady agrees. Oh, is it because we're thinking rationally and sanely, and we're just looking at the evidence that, you know, we've not got a particular narrative to sell? We're just witnesses to what passes for so-called reality in this world. And so it's as with any issue, the 9/11 movement was getting very powerful. There's a lot of it was starting to pick up interest, movement on the ground, and then suddenly there's a division within the movement, because on one side you've got Dr. Judy Wood, and on the other side you've got these people supporting the thermite, and no, it can't be both. And this again touches on another thing that I've addressed in my previous video, is that this split between left and right politics, and this idea that, you know, we can either choose to be capitalists or socialists, when actually we are socio-capitalists. That is what we are. We have a left and right hand. We use them to work together. Okay, the idea that you can split these things and be one or the other is to choose to be disabled in one way or the other. Okay, so this is the split. Divide and rule. Please understand, it isn't just a fiction, a historical myth from Roman times. That is how insanity stays in control, by encouraging people to slot into one square or another. Okay, because then they can play games with us. Once we say, oh well, we're in this square, we're on this side, and then, oh no, we're on this side, then all kinds of games can be played. The fact of 9/11 is that, yes, of course thermite was used to give the impression of the collapse, and at the same time an energy beam to turn the material into dust so it didn't hit the ground and cause immense damage to the structure below. Don't forget, they had a load of gold under there that they wanted to get access to, and they did. They got the gold. So the controlled opposition is there too. They always come very confident. They have a large following, quickly write a book which is sold everywhere, very popular, and you know, they're suddenly on all the truth shows, the alternative network, and it's all become a bit of a circus, because that is what it is about now. You know, it's the circus, isn't it? Back to the circus. This is the news, the circus of the mainstream news, and then you've got your little sideshow circuses, haven't you, of your alternative news, and then you've got reality, real human beings who just get and make the videos because they're concerned, not because, you know, they're asking for funding or they've got some ego trip they want to sail on. They're just concerned human beings, concerned about what is going on. And this lady is concerned, because why would Dr. Judy Wood, after what she said about 9/11, and she can look at those Californian fires and say, oh, the people that are saying it's energy weapons, well, you know, basically, they're all doolally. And obviously, Andrew Johnson agreeing with her. And that is exactly why they're there. That is the purpose they serve, because the things they choose to ignore, well, they're the alternative media, aren't they? They're ignoring it. They're laughing at these people. Oh, don't even go there, people. You know, they're all mad. And a lot of people do cling to what Dr. Judy Wood says, and that sort of just puts a dampener on everything then, doesn't it? It's to negate. It's to negate. It's about negating the spirit. That's what it's about. It's about negating the spirit of humanity that asks questions like a little child asks questions. Doesn't just accept what's being told, asks a question, and is prepared to ask embarrassing questions. Things that are embarrassing to our so-called adult global leaders, if that's really what you can call them. I mean, they're like toddlers being left to run about on a rampage. So she's right to ask that question, you know, well, so what is going on with Dr. Judy Wood? Well, that is exactly what's going on with Dr. Judy Wood. That is exactly why she's there, so that when they bring their energy beam weapons out to play, she can say, oh no, that's not energy beam weapons. Look to the past, people. Notice she came out at a time, at a certain point in time, she started talking about these energy beam weapons, and suddenly everything was on energy beam weapons and Dr. Judy Wood, and all the attention was being taken away off the Building 7 people who were suddenly getting very big in the media. So it's like, give them a bit more of the truth, but, you know, dress it up in its pretty things, and then, you know, we'll use you to poo-poo our next thing. And while people are still looking at you, at the past, at 9/11, we can be getting on. Nobody's looking at what's going on in the here and now. Because, you know, look to history. Just keep looking at the historical crimes. You know, don't get into the here and now. Because we'll discuss the here and now maybe in 20 years' time. And then say, oh yeah, oh, it was this, it was that. And America's not been in the here and now really for a very long time, according to its leadership. The people have been living in the here and now, but they've, you know, the majority are being fed a pack of lies, and even distracted by the people that they're encouraged to put their faith in as so-called truthers. And you know, we are in very, very, very serious times. Now, some of the footage that is shown here of the Californian fires, it is really quite scary. And I've just watched another video from a channel called Top Cats, and it's Top Cats spelt with a K. And you know, it was another person. I was just like, because I thought I was, is it just me? Because I haven't been able to find any other videos of people asking what's happened to all the people that fled these fires. Because apparently, you know, there was over 100,000 people have had to vacate their homes in California and it's like, well, where have all these people gone? Where are they? And I find it really disturbing how many cars they left behind. So what, did they all leave on foot? And I've heard a very disturbing account of a family that, well, they died of their burns. I think the children died, the parents are still in hospital, and you know, what can we say except just pray, and just pray for them. But they suffered that trying to leave. They were leaving on foot. I've seen some footage of two men trying to leave in a car, and they couldn't breathe. They literally just appeared to make it out of there alive in their car. Now, so over 100,000 people. So where did they all go? Where did this 100,000 people go? And so far I've seen little pockets of a few hundred people in this centre, a few hundred people in that centre, a few hundred people there, a few hundred people there. You know, that, and exactly that same guy, Top Cat, says exactly the same thing, that, you know, we've seen about, what, 2% of this 100,000 people have been represented on the mainstream media. You know, you would have thought 100,000 people have lost their homes. So what? They've just all vanished into the ether. You've got these few hundred here, a few hundred there, and so is that why there's this level of this severity of dismissal coming from, you know, the big energy weapon name, Dr. Judy Wood? She's energy weapon authority now, isn't she? And that is exactly why they put these people there. They're authority figures, and when they choose to poo-poo something or ignore it, then, you know, whatever those people are saying, yeah, sorry, you're all suffering from mental health problems. But Dr. Judy Ward isn't suffering from mental health problems, is she? To claim that the Twin Towers were brought down purely by energy weapons. Okay, no thermite involved at all, because, you know, you can just make, with an energy weapon, you can make a building look as though it's collapsing free fall, can't you? No, you can't, can you? Because what happens is it bursts into flames, exactly as happened here in California, and everything just turns to dust. So, no, what you need is thermite in place to break up the building as you direct your energy weapon onto it. So it gives an appearance of a collapse. And then later you can say, yeah, it was office fires actually, you know, because our buildings are that weak that a few office fires are just going to, you know, totally melt all the steel beams, because, you know, it's totally ludicrous. So we know that both were used, and the California fires do show evidence of it. So this is a wake-up call to basically the people of Earth to say, okay then, so we've got a corporate military now. Are they using their weapons on the people? And that what? Suppose 50,000 people lost their lives in these fires, and we just don't know about it because whole communities were destroyed. And families trying to find their loved ones are being told, oh, well, they're probably in this centre, they're probably in that centre. Or, you know, maybe a lot of the people just didn't have family. Or maybe a lot of family don't even know that their family's involved. And it's this total lack of concern about the people that are left, that, you know, what, 100,000 people. So is there any way you people can get together? Is there any way that you people can get together to start asking questions? Or is there actually only a few thousand people left? Can we be sure? Can we be sure? Now, that's a serious thing. If suddenly, in a so-called democratic, free society, that suddenly, you know, there is even the possibility that 50,000 of you citizens could just suddenly be vaporised, and nobody's batting an eyelid apart from, you know, people just looking at the evidence and understanding what they are witnessing here and recognising the fact they've been lied to. Because, you know, hurricane winds that leave all the roads clear, fires that burn houses and buildings in a car park, and but leave all the trees. You know, how is it? How is it possible? How is that possible in a wildfire? And, you know, but apparently, like this lady says, according to Dr. Judy Ward, to even think that this could have been caused by an energy weapon, well, you know, you're totally cuckoo. But she can stand there and tell an audience of people that energy being weapons alone brought down the Twin Towers. Because, you know, she's got a PhD, so according, however, what she says. But like I say, it isn't because she's stupid, it's because that is why she's there. That is why she's there. Exactly, in place, at the right time, to look away, people, nothing to see here. And you'll see that they set these figures up just prior to something that comes along, and then suddenly they're there. And I've seen it time and time again where somebody will suddenly appear and overnight they'll have a huge following, 100,000 people, never heard of them before, but apparently 100,000 people are with them. They're really popular, saying something about, say, paedophilia and blah 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 blah, and everybody's like, yeah, she's speaking out, yeah, oh, she's popular, yeah, she's going to get something done. Everybody goes there, and then suddenly the person turns around and says, I've decided that I'm not going to go there anymore, and that, you know, I just have to now go follow a spiritual path and not to look at that negativity, because actually by looking at that negativity you're just feeding it. And so, you know, now I'm moving away from paedophilia, and I advise everybody just stop looking at it, because, you know, it's just evil, it just draws you in. Seriously, yeah. Yeah, stop, don't bother looking at the children, what the children are suffering. It's all negative. We're here to be happy. Can you be happy? Yeah, don't suffer the little children, you know. Don't suffer their needs. Don't suffer in your conscience for them, because, you know, we're all going to be spiritual and be positive and happy. You see, they're there to distract us from reality, and they do make them powerful, and the people that they attract and distract, and then the people who they negate, who are left like this lady, feeling negated, feeling insulted, feeling upset. She's already upset what she's had to witness. It's deeply disturbing. That's why people are speaking out. They're deeply disturbed. What she's witnessed has deeply disturbed her. It's deeply disturbed a lot of people. And now she has to get basically punched in the gut by Dr. Judy Wood, who apparently, as she explains, is, you know, more concerned about how people pronounce the name. Well, she wants to try having a name like mine. And, you know. So, you know, this lady is absolutely spot on in what she's saying. And I'm going to leave the link to it under this video because, you know, you really need to listen to what she says and understand the impact of these people and understand how the mind games are played, because everything of this world is a total fiction. It really is. It's a total fiction. And I've just made 2 videos which I uploaded yesterday. One was to, as I call them, the fuckers. You know, because there's no nice way really to talk to these people, but I have given them a chance in there with their brain power, because they're really not connected to their hearts. That, look, if you understand that the way you've been living is wrong and you're prepared to actually live right and uphold universal law, then, you know, you can be forgiven. But you are going to have to do that. Okay? And I've made another video for, you know, the genuinely good-hearted, caring people who try to do what they can, you know, and explaining about the well, the Luciferianism, the Luciferian law that we're living by right now, unbeknownst to the majority who think that we're living under some sort of form of God's law. But no, it's Luciferian law of might equals right to do as thy will. Okay? And that is what is so dangerous about a corporate, when you've got corporate military that are operating on that law of might equals right to do as thy will. That is really serious. And they are controlling not just the mainstream media, but they've also got their hooks into these key players that they put on the stage. You know, so the minute people start asking questions, you know, it's like the Young Turks were saying this that what's happened in California is due to climate change. It's climate change. You know, climate change, it's really selective. Climate change. You know, and these aren't the only pictures. There's just so many pictures of just whole areas that are just completely devastated, you know. It just goes on and on and on. You know, as I say, you're talking over 100,000 people apparently have had to evacuate. And it is very disturbing how many cars these people left behind. And, you know, as people have pointed out, that this area was supposed to have been hit by hurricane force winds. Well, you know, do you see any evidence of hurricane force winds in the road here? So the questions that this lady is asking are valid questions. The questions that Truth by Grace is asking are valid questions. A plain truth, what a plain truth's asking are valid questions. They are, you don't need a PhD to know what the weather's like outside. Okay, you don't need to be a weather person, do you, to look at the sky and think, it looks like it's going to rain. And these people are looking and they're seeing the evidence. And the reason why this is so serious is because it is a threat. You're talking about a corporate threat. I've explained time and again, these people want to impose corporate communism, okay, which is state-controlled communism, and also that is going to be the choice, state-controlled communism or corporate communism, and it'll be a mixture of the two, okay? So that is what they are about at the moment. They have absolutely no imagination. They've got absolutely no faith in universal intelligence, in their souls, in eternal life. They don't believe in anything like that. They believe totally in the material world. They follow the light from solid gold, and they will all hit a dead end, you know. Unfortunately, it's sad, but they will. And if they carry on, they'll take everybody, they'll take this whole planet to that dead end with them. And it is up to us now to get sane and to lose these divisions that have been imposed on us, to lose the hate, to start to look at each other as human beings and understand that, look, I don't care what faith you are, what colour you are, what gender, what politics even you are you a human being? Do you love our planet? Do you want to live a lawful life, a lawful, productive life? Do you want to give a future to the next generation? Are you somebody that can protect and defend children's rights? Or are you somebody that just sees children as a toy there for your pleasure? Something expendable, a lesser human being. You know, that is, we need to understand this. This is what it comes down to when you're fighting for your life, okay? And we need to stand up for our children's rights, because they have a right to a living, healthy, living Mother Earth. They do have a right, and we need to stand up for that right. Now, these people on Agenda 21 who are total psychopaths have got absolutely no idea about compassion and approach every problem with an axe, okay? To such a degree, they are a danger to themselves, and everything that they try to do that they think is for good is just evil, because even their technology is evil, because it's been created for evil purposes. And, you know, what is evil? Criminal. That's what evil is. It's criminal. It's a crime. That's what evil is. And it's a crime against nature. And that this whole society is established on crimes against nature, crimes against humanity, the whole intellect behind it, the rationale, the logic, everything. And all to keep what? This consciousness in power. These people die, you know, it's just waiting for new bodies to inhabit. It's like, it's a dead thing. Because it isn't real. It's not real. This whole Luciferian so-called Christianity, Luciferian cult that they dressed up as Christianity and imposed on the unsuspecting natives, you know, which they did do that to us, and we've grown up in that culture and accepted it as normal. And that's what I've explained in my thing, that, you know, the Celtic cross, the living cross of life, the 4 equinoxes that every culture understands, that's the cross of life, not this bloody instrument of Roman torture. What else would we expect it to produce except division, division, division? Because that's how Rome keeps its power, and it is a carnivorous force. And when you've got a carnivorous force that is essentially cannibalizing itself, then it's totally insane. It cannot survive. It cannot survive. To those who have less, even that which they have shall be taken away. To those who have more, more shall be given. Abundance, the universal law of abundance in compassion. And there is no battle, oh, this side's right, then that side must be wrong. Consciousness isn't a battle. Consciousness is, where do we find reality? Where do we find facts? Where do we find truth? What do they support? What can we do positively? Do we identify a problem because we want to indulge in some truth porn? Because we're a truth junkie? And then it's like, oh, what else problem can we find now? Or do we identify a problem because we understand that we need to know the problem in order to resolve the problem? So how do we resolve the problem? And that is why I'm explaining to people. We resolve the problem by returning to our humanity, to returning to understanding that we are universal beings, and we are about to enter the next stage of our evolution, which is a consciousness evolution, and it has to be done on a conscious level. Okay, we consciously wake up to our universal being, our universal eternal light being, soul and spirit, and understand that that is a living part of this universe that created us, that wrote our DNA, and that we are here as a grace for the life on earth, to care for our planet, to enjoy our planet, and to live in heaven, basically, because that's where earth is. Now, these people only believe in death. They're afraid of death. They don't believe in their universal soul. And so they cling to the material world. And to such a degree, they've got everybody believing that, you know, oh, don't follow the golden light of universal intelligence. Come away. Follow this gold. Look, the light of our gold. This is from God. It's from God. And, you know, the South American native peoples, they called gold excrement of the gods. It is. You know, the light of the gods is the intelligence, the consciousness, universal law of abundance and compassion that upholds our human rights. Every faith can incorporate it, just as every faith has quite happily used the money and the laws it supports. But universal law is right equals might, to do as thy will. And as I say, as long as you're living righteously, you're not harming people, why shouldn't you do as you will? As long as your will is operating in consideration for others and their rights, as long as your will is compassionate and respectful, then why shouldn't you? But you see, in this world, it's like, oh no, who are you? Yes, sorry, you've not got a PhD, so you've got no right to say, you've got no right to speak, actually. Oh, sorry, you're not a multi-millionaire. We're not really interested in what you've got to say. Oh, sorry, you're a black person from the ghetto. We're only interested in you, you know, if you're going to give us some rap lyrics about, you know, jacking up. So it is a really serious issue about what appears to have happened in California, and it's hard to say. You know, we just have to accept the evidence. So the homes were incinerated. So does that mean 50,000 people plus could have lost their lives, and nobody's going to notice it? Nobody's going to say anything about it, and the people who are saying stuff about it, nobody's really listening to. And what is going on? This is, that's serious. That's serious. And the more people ignore, you know, it's like the wolves creeping in and the flock's just standing there and they're getting that little bit closer, and everybody's, oh, let's pretend that we just can't see them. Just ignore them and they'll go away. Well, they won't. And this is stealth. And there comes a point where you need to wake up and say, excuse me, enough is enough. We want some serious questions answered here. And we have the might to do that because we are right. And that's what we need to understand. And not let you know, just the very fact that Andrew Johnson and Dr. Judy Wood had that whole conversation just to discredit people asking questions about the Californian fires. Just that fact alone needs to tell people that, hey, people, you're onto something here. You need to wake up. Yes. Understand what the controlled opposition is. They do give you half the truth. They only ever tell you half the story. And then keep the two halves apart. They've done it with male and female. That was, you know, male and female. Tell a false story and keep them apart. And then you can divide everybody, can't you? I mean, this is the whole thing that I'm trying to explain to people. That, you know, I did witness an event of light being. And I know for an absolute fact of universal golden light being intelligence. And I know it for a fact, and I know that we can do an amazing thing on this planet, that we have the power, we have the technology, we have a multitude, a workforce like we've never had before, and everybody working with joy to improve their environments, to give people good homes, to give people health care, to give women the rights, to raise a healthy, happy generation, and then you get balance. Everything becomes balanced. Everything becomes balanced. When, you know, you don't get population explosions, everything starts to balance out. And we need all these people, and these psychopaths that are controlling us. You know, they're so crazy. They think that, oh yes, there's too many people, so, you know, we just need to kill loads of people, and yeah, you know, the earth will like repair itself. Well, no, it won't, because you're so stupid and crazy. You will just end up with less and less and less until you've not even got enough to sustain yourselves. But that's how crazy you are, and it'll just mean the quantum energy of life on earth will find another home somewhere in this universe. But actually, we would like to try our best to save our planet and turn this around now, because otherwise it's a breech birth and it's going to be really bad. It could kill the mother, okay, because we haven't got a doctor to perform a cesarean, because, you know, we haven't got another mother to be able to hand the baby over to. So either we are going to save our planet and we are going to save the next generation, or we're going to let these mad people carry on with their crazy fantasy and fulfill their evil revelations that their Luciferian religion supports. And they've been doing it for years, and everybody's saying, oh, the prophecy's coming true, the prophecy's coming true. Absolute insanity. Those prophecies were never meant to be true. Why do you think the people of Nineveh begged God, like, no, please, please, after Jonah prophesied the horror that was going to come to them? They said, no, we'll change, we'll change. So change, people, today, and don't accept their Luciferian prophecy written by Cerinthus. Okay, their bloody evil revelations, written by a misogynist. Go read it for yourself. It's all about Lucifer and about, oh, they're going to do this. Angels, apparently, angels that poison at half the earth. What kind of an angel's that? Angels of what? Hell. No, they've been promoting a false impression of Jesus. They've tried to destroy the man. Okay, they've tried to destroy the man. Jesus said, I'm the Son of Man. And man, you know, as man and as male and female, we need to understand, find Jesus within ourselves is connecting to our humanity and our sanity, which has the passion of love in it. We're not psychopaths. We can be passionate, but we're not crazy, you know, and we don't want this craziness that these psychopaths would love everybody just to start rioting and then they can bring the police state in. No, we aren't going to give them that, grant their wish, because no, we're not crazy mad people who need to go out on a riot. We're sane, rational people asking for some very serious questions of you crazy mad people that want to drive us to riots, that are doing all kinds of actions against us, arranging news, creating news stories, fake news stories, and then spinning more fake news out of the fake news, you know, so that the fires in California were wildfires, and then you can spin that into, yeah, it's climate change, you know. I mean, no, there's some serious things gone down. 2.3, nearly $3 trillion went missing out of the Pentagon budget. Everybody in America needs to ask, where the bloody hell did it go? Okay? Because that's a serious amount of cash. Where did it go? What? Who was behind using thermite and an energy beam weapon on the Twin Towers? Sorry, no, we're not accepting your division. We want a socio-capitalist society. That is our nature. No, we're not prepared to be divided into a capitalist or a socialist. We are socio-capitalist. Okay, that is life. Socio-capitalist. We're not going to accept corporate communism or have the choice between corporate communism or state communism. No, go away. Because you people are crazy, your technology is crazy, and the way that we're going to do it is that we're going to have hemp. We're going to grow hemp. It's going to give us clothing. It's going to give us food. It's going to give us animal feed. It's going to give us plastics. It's going to give us oil. It's going to give us hempcrete. It's going to give us paper. We are going to grow hemp. And we are going to create a sustainable life on our planet. And we are going to live in joy and wonder at this amazing universe that created us. And we are going to know that universal intelligence for a reality as a living light within us. And we will never again fear death, because we understand that the material is all about decay and renewal. That's why biology is biology, so it can renew. Because let's face it, who wants to live 100,000 years in the same body? I mean, seriously. We need to accept the magic that created us, and have our faith in that. And have faith that we are right, and that universal quantum energy is within us, and it ignites, it empowers us in righteousness, not in hate. We might hate the world, we hate the things that this world has made people do, but we understand that those people are victims. Even the people who are the so-called elite are victims. They were all born into this world. They've absorbed it. It's just that they believe these things, but believing something, you know, I can believe that it's possible to fly, you know. Well, I walk out of the window, oh, and actually I can't fly, so I'll just fall to the ground. I believed in something that wasn't true. And that is what these people are doing, and we do need to stand up for our rights, for the children's rights, It's only when you get the children's rights, these people are feeding on our children, and they are damaging children in every way imaginable, and especially psychologically. Children are very, very, very vulnerable. Especially psychopaths have a lot of charm and power over children, and you know, we need to be wary about what it is we're feeding our children's minds, because children aren't just a physical, growing, developing body, they are also a growing, developing psychology. Okay, and you know, there's some seriously bad messages being infected, and it's just there. It isn't even real. It is like just some sort of succubus in the consciousness, just waiting to infect all the children being born with its prejudices and its divisions and its madnesses. And you know, they do focus on the weakest aspect. You know, the weakest aspect of a man is his sexual drive, isn't it? And so they constantly have the man thinking about sex, you know, boobs, this, that, bombard, and it's unnatural. It's unnatural. And there's a lot of woman hatred out there, and there's man hatred. You know, this is not a natural way for any species. No species really can survive with the two halves hating each other. You know, you're talking about, well, you're back to your wolf pack, aren't you? We're not meant to live like in a wolf pack. And so, you know, this lady, I think my video's just almost as long as hers. What can I say? I've tried to share my understanding and support this lady, because what she's saying is absolutely right, and people need to listen to the ordinary people now, you know, the people who are speaking out, who are asking questions, who are sane and rational, and who have got something to promote positively. You know, like I say, there is a better way. There's a better way to go forward than with their Agenda 21. You know, we can basically transform Agenda 21 with knobs on, you know, without having to kill anybody. And that is the point, that these people in power now need to understand, look, who are you serving? Do you want to serve life, or do you want to serve death? Death, it is a dead end. Go with your gold, you will sink with it. Your consciousness spirit shall sink with that gold. Or do you want to follow the golden light intelligence that is explaining, look, take advantage of the abundance of life on earth. Give to the people what they need. Ask the people to help create an abundance on our planet, to clean the planet up, to clean the oceans up. Give them jobs and treat them humanely. Bring happiness to the people. Bring happiness to the planet. Let's save our planet. We do not need to follow those revelations. They are evil. All we need to do is embrace the universal law. And obviously the people that did 9/11, you know, they can't even, you know, they can't even accept the laws of physics. The whole theory about the official story of 9/11 itself fundamentally relies on denying even the laws of physics. And once you've got to that point with the consciousness, I tell you now, there's no hope, because they are dropping off the cliff, aren't they? If they're denying the laws of physics, they're at the same point I've just mentioned earlier of me saying, well, I believe that if I go to the top of the building and jump off it, I can fly. Oh no, you can't. And that is exactly what those people are doing. And that's why even now they have to depend on denying the laws of physics in order to present their latest lie. And then using an authority on that lie, you know, to divide the movement, exposing it, and then use her again to then denounce perfectly credible, rational, passionate people like this lady and Truth by Grace, you know, to deny them, to say that these people are insane. And I tell you, that is how, that is, they do want to drive people insane. And it is an abuse, it is an abuse. Dr. Judy Ward, you've been outed. Andrew Johnson, what can I say? Same goes to you. So anyway, thank you for taking the time to listen. I know it's been long, but and I didn't intend it to be this long, but I do feel this is so important. People need to look what has happened in California. Think about the implications of a militarized corporate. Think about the trillions that they've absorbed out of the American military, and really think about what this threat really is now. And don't be afraid, because we do not have anything to be afraid of. Our understanding, as I've said, the universal intelligence is with us. Our power is in being right. We are right, and we need to ask the questions, and we need to get organised. Find out. I want to know what has happened to the 100,000 people. Are there 100,000 people that escaped those homes? Are there anybody unaccounted for? We need to start asking questions, to wake up, to get active, and to actually do things. You know, what we don't need is people all going crazy on the streets. That's exactly what they want. We need to get organised, and like that Top Cat says, you know, ask questions. Where are these people that all fled their homes? How many people lost their lives? Did thousands of people lose their lives in America? Then that's the time to start asking questions. Well, what the bloody hell went on here? When this, what, you think thousands of American citizens can just lose their lives like that? And there's this evidence pointing to foul play with energy weapons run by private corporations, and we're not even going to ask a question about that. No, that's tyranny. And that is a time that every single person in America, regardless of what faith, creed, class, whatever you are, if you care about humanity and you love Jesus in your heart, then you will stand up and you will ask questions and you will take action and use whatever power of office and authority you have to make sure that right equals might, to do as thy will. So thank you for taking time to listen. And thank you very much to this lady and all the people like her. You know, there's Thomas Ackerman as well, and A Plain Truth, Truth by Grace. All you people, you there, you warriors. So love to all.